Welcome everyone back to the Eat Like Ruby podcast. You have your hosts Georgia and Ruby here. Today we're going to be talking about all things business for 2024, the goals we have in mind, and everything you need to know.
Georgia's back. Hello, Georgia.
Hi everyone.
If you guys listened to last week's episode, you will know Georgia. She did the whole ep with me. Big intro.
Yeah.
If you haven't listened and you don't know, Georgia is the business manager of Eat Like Ruby, sidekick, wing woman, right hand man, whatever we want to call her.
Nice.
So we did a big episode last week talking literally just like all things body image, body positivity, maybe kind of vibes,
mindset
sizing,
around scale weight, stuff like that.
Yeah, just being two chicks, G being early 20s, me being early 30s, and just all of the body image things that can come with that. So I feel like it ended up being quite a juicy episode.
It was a girly chit chat.
Yeah.
Kind of like talking about the issues I think all women have at any age.
Like
really?
And I think it's like one of those things where people might relate to all of it or some of it or whatever, but I think every woman, especially any woman who's interested in nutrition and fitness in a way, which you think most people listening would be.
Yeah, you assume.
think you would pick something up from that. So if you haven't listened to last week's episode, I definitely put that on your to-listen list. But today we're just going to kind of roll on. We've recorded them both together, and this is our part 2. I feel like we spoke about
We touched on it.
Kind of introed in the last episode that I was going to talk about my goals, etc., which we did not end up doing
really.
at all.
No.
But we kind of did.
Slightly, like how you're changing your mindset around your wedge trade goals, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So our kind of theory before we just word vomited on last week's episode was that we would do a like personal health fitness goals, and then today would be more like business programs, goals, where's all that going? When Shaq and I did the Q&As, which were the 2 episodes before these two, there were a lot of like, what's your 2024 goals?
We could probably do like a little mixture of both.
Yeah, and so a lot of people just asked about like personal goals, but then there was a lot of like, when we do those Q&As, we just open the floodgates, honestly. Like, I'll get people like, how many calories should I eat? How much this? How much that? Yeah. And then I get people that ask personal questions, and then I get people asking like, when's the next fat loss phase? And do you do training only? And do you do this? And do you do that? So we didn't cover too many of those goal type questions in the Q&As because we thought we'd save them for these ones. Today we are going to talk about more so Eat Like Ruby and the goals and the plans, but also what we've been going through.
Yeah, oh my goodness.
Which has just been quite the journey, if you will, guys. Some highs, some lows. We love it. Like, she loves it.
Yeah.
But it's been a trip. I'd say the last 2 months, like that real, I don't even know what you want to call it, like the real thick of that shit, if you will, was early October vibes.
It sounds really dramatic.
I know.
In our world, it is. In your guys' world, you guys are killing it.
Yeah, I'm making it sound dramatic.
Yeah, but it is because
Life is still great. It's just been hectic.
No, it was back and forth. You had to like pivot if you prefer. So many times. But I feel like the back and forth really concreted your why behind everything else. Yeah.
Yes. It's one of those things where, and you guys will understand when we get into it, it's one of those things where at the time I was just like, this is a bitch. And then I look back daily, if not hourly, I was saying that. But then I look back now and I'm like, that was honestly pivotal. That had to happen. It sounds so cliche, but it's like, fuck, I'm stoked that happened because it made me get so clear.
Yeah, 100%.
On everything. Yeah. So honestly, like it's been highs and lows, all of the things. I'm sure to some extent it's first world problems, but then at the same time, I'm like, this is actually my life. This is my company. Yeah. We're no longer in side hustle vibes, like, let's be honest.
Which is so cool. I'm just saying, like, I feel like you live a lot of coaches without being, not trying to, again, gas you up, but dream. You live a lot of people's and coaches' dream, for sure. And your level of success is actually, I know, I'm
just going to let you roll with this.
Gassing Ruby up here. Like, people, I only see it because I get to see all behind the scenes, figures, all that stuff. It doesn't... Also, that stuff's great, right? We want to make money, but it's not, I feel like you don't do it because of that. Like, you have like a genuine why, and that's why you're so successful in it. Like even that chat that we did last week, like you can see the passion in it. So I think that really conveys into what you do. And that's why you get so stressed out when we're going back and forth, because you're like, oh my God, but I really care about this and it's stressing me out because I really care. So it's like a good stress.
Yeah, it's been a lot. So basically we'll talk about what's been happening and then we'll talk about what is going to be happening in 2024. Yeah. I can't believe we're like 2024 and
don't. When I say
however many weeks. When this goes live, I reckon wedding is like 3 weeks away when this goes live.
Weird.
Wild.
Weird. It's a big day for everyone.
She's actually working the wedding, side note. So G and I were like navigating holidays and days off and times off and whatever. And then I was trying to find, I'm like, with the wedding, like obviously I want makeup, and G used to be a makeup artist. And
so random, yeah.
I know. And then I'm like, oh, I don't want someone to do my makeup, and then what if it's shit and I hate it and whatever. And then I'm like, do I want a photographer? Like I probably just want a couple of good photos. I don't want to go to the extent of like a full fucking photo shoot vibe. There were so many little things where in the end I'm like, gee, do you just want to work on the wedding day and then have another day off? Yeah. And she's like, fuck yeah, I do.
Yeah, that's so sick. I'm so excited.
So it's G is literally makeup artist, assistant, photographer, probably going to be holding Nutella at some point, which she didn't know about, but she does now.
I love dogs.
She doesn't love dogs, but Nutella is growing on her.
He is growing on me very slowly. Yes. He's a gentle king.
So anyway, wedding's 3 weeks away, so that's a whole nother bloody trip. But we're
visual people.
We do use a whiteboard. We do love a whiteboard sesh. So we pretty much go to a whiteboard and we say, what's happening in Eat Like Ruby? What do we want to be happening? What's working? What's not? What does Rubes want to do? We've literally done whiteboard sessions where in the middle of the whiteboard we've written shit Ruby doesn't like doing. And then I'll like brain dump, and then I'm like, how do we either get this out of the biz? How do we outsource? How do we get G to do it? Whatever. Yeah. So we do love a whiteboard sesh. And that to me is even super important. People might laugh at that, or people might be like, oh, fucking don't want to do anything you don't want to do. But to me, there's a big element where I'm like, I cannot show up in the way that I do and run programs and all of the things if there's a low key part of me that's like, I don't want to fucking do this.
100%. Yeah.
And I would say there's so many coaches out there listening who have elements in their business that they don't love, but you know, they're like, oh, these people want this, or I just let them do that, or whatever. And I'm sure probably so many businesses like that. But to me, I've been like, okay, this is, again, not my side hustle anymore. Like, this is a legitimate company.
Yeah.
Like, I spend my life doing this work. A
lot of money.
I don't want to fucking resent it.
Yeah, no.
Like, so to me, it's been so important to really get clear on that. And then, I don't want people joining Eat Like Ruby, being excited at all of the things. And then imagine if I'm like, low key, like, I hate this.
Yeah.
And I'm the total opposite. I'm like,
no, you live and breathe it. You actually are crazy. You live and breathe it. It'll be like Monday morning. We jump on like an 8:30 Zoom every Monday morning to do a thumbnail workshop for an hour and a half. You guys better love those thumbnails because we put some time into that.
Thumbnails are a bitch.
Yeah.
If you don't know what we're talking about, thumbnails are like the cover of the YouTube videos.
Yeah. So give them some love, please.
They get a lot of, if you don't follow Eat Like Ruby on YouTube,
you should.
Pull your finger out.
Yeah. I want to get her a cake when she hits 1,000.
Yeah, we're so close to 1,000. We might even be there by the time this comes out.
Yeah.
Or maybe not. Who knows?
No,
she's a slow burn.
It's a slow burn. But
let's get on
great.
YouTube. If you listen to the free podcast every week, the least you can do is get on YouTube and hit subscribe. Put me on fucking mute for all I care. Just actually, please, be a number on YouTube. What were you saying?
I don't know.
Zoom, 8:30 Monday.
Oh, yeah. We'll jump on a Zoom on 8:30 Monday morning and she'll be like, G, I have just had this spark of inspiration on Sunday night and I have actually planned into 2025. And I'm stoked about it. And this is what I've done.
All that shit that you had on your to-do list today, I did it at 3 a.m. Sunday.
I know. It's nuts.
No, but that's even something that I've navigated a lot over the last, probably this year. I used to be very like, oh, it's Monday morning, I have to work. Oh, it's Sunday, I have to have a day off. And even then, I think when you start a business, you're like, I have to work all the time. This is my business. There's always shit to do. Rah, rah, rah. That was the big thing for me, was to like be able to just walk away and have a day off. And then I was so like, it's the weekend. You have to have time off.
Yeah.
And then I feel like I've just got to this awesome place now where I'm like, if I wake up on a Wednesday and I'm not feeling it, then I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
But equally, if I wake up on Sunday morning and it's there, I'm doing it.
Yeah.
So, and I feel like it takes a while to get to that point, because sometimes you actually just have to get up and get shit done.
Yeah.
But I think I back myself. If I wake up and think, no, it's not going to happen today, I know that like it will come to me in the coming days or whatever. Like I know I'll get shit done. So yeah, just having...
You back yourself a lot, which is cool.
Yeah, and I think you can't put that pressure on yourself to be like, you know, if I'm planning like a masterclass or a call or something, like that's literally my jam. Like I can't force it.
Yeah.
So if I'm brain dead or it's not there or whatever, I'm like, no, not today. And sometimes even with those live calls in the fat loss phase, I've sometimes planned them at like 3 and the call is at 6. Yeah. And that's not like leave it to the last minute vibes. It's more like I've always got an idea and I'll brain dump shit throughout the week when it comes to me. But then I'm like, I want to sit down just before it and like get it fresh in my mind. Yeah. And so much shit happens in Eat Like Ruby all the time where like if I planned a call 4 weeks ago and then the girls show up every day and they're clearly navigating other things, I don't want to be like, oh, well, I planned this call, so I'll talk about this, even though none of you seem to be going through it. Yeah. It's like, let's talk about what's actually happening.
It's always adjusting for sure.
Yeah. So I feel like that was, we're already off topic.
Yeah. So coming back to the whiteboard sesh.
We went like Zoom, thumbnail, whiteboard.
Sorry, yes. Back to the whiteboard sesh. So we are creative people. We like to write down what Ruby doesn't want to do. And then that can be, again, like you said, it's not that she doesn't want to work. It's like, it's just things that you aren't passionate about, so you don't put your 100% like love and effort into. So you're like, I don't want to make it part of my business.
Yeah.
So then we kind of drew up a few ideas to like bring some different programs to Eat Like Ruby that were kind of filling the gaps that we felt was there.
Girls come into things like the fat loss phase, etc. They love it. They froth it. We love it. Community vibes. Like everything is on for 12 weeks.
Yeah.
And then our theory was like, what happens in week 13?
Yeah.
So we were trying to fill that gap. And our original plan, like we get girls that are like, I want nutrition help. I want training help. I want both. I want one. I want the other. I want in. I want out.
Yeah.
Like, so many things. And so we were like, okay, we'll have basically membership style things for them to move into, whether it's nutrition only, training only, or both.
Yeah.
So we kind of worked with that for a while. At the same time, every year in October, I renew my sports nutrition qualification. Like you got to just do a little bit of like continued education, whatever we call it. So I was doing that. And then I also do like a reassessment of like insurances and policies and qualifications, whatever, and just make sure everything is actually fucking right.
Legit.
Business-wise. Right? And this year I actually hired a specialist and she pulled everything apart pretty much and was just like, yes, you can do this. No, you can't do this. Rah, rah, rah. Long story short, like I won't give everyone all of the boring ins and outs and whatever, but part of it was because it was actually in 2022, but this is the first sort of big audit we've done since then. We transitioned from business to company. Yeah. So then there were certain things in like the fine print of like paperwork and qualifications and insurance and all that was like, this applies when you're a business, this applies when you're a company, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Obviously, in this day and age, there's so many things people don't think about in terms of even like all of the shit we do online. How many hackers, scammers, shit is out there? So we looked into like cyber insurance and all that sort of stuff. Like there's so many little things that people wouldn't think about because they're like, oh, you just take pictures of your lunch every day.
Yeah.
Like I wish.
Yeah, no.
So anyway, I had the specialist come in. She was awesome. She helped me with everything. I then hired a lawyer to pretty much rewrite everything. And again, it's shit people don't think about. It's like privacy policies. Like, what are we doing with your information?
Yeah.
So many things like that where I'm sure there's probably online coaches listening right now that's like, I don't have cyber insurance. I don't have a privacy policy.
Yeah, 100%.
Pull your finger out. I think we could do business like Ruby. That'll be...
Dude, I have said this. Don't worry, guys. I'll keep chipping away at it.
But honestly, like I just wanted to make sure everything was right. Anytime we were running big things like the fat loss phase and memberships and all of this, I want to know that like literally from the ground up, like from the roots of this business, everything is legit for client's sake, for my sake, for your sake. Like, I don't take it lightly that I pay you a full-time salary.
I know.
I'm not going to fuck with that.
Yeah, no, you that's like the first thing. That was my first impression, actually, when you sent me that email and you were like, and this is what it would be after tax and this is what it is, blah, 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 and this is what you're entitled to. I was like, thank you, Mum.
But again, I'm like, literally, I pay your way in life. I'm not going to fuck with that. And then I'm not going to be like, oh, gee, by the way, like, legit, don't tell the lawyers, don't tell insurance, but we're actually fucking really not legit behind the scenes.
No,
like
it's
that
very
just,
legit.
It doesn't sit right with me, whatever. And again, it's almost that energy of like, are you a side hustle? Are you a fucking influencer? Or are you literally a company? Like there's a very big difference. And this is where all of this started. So anyway, specialist, lawyer, all the things, everything got pulled apart. Everything started to get rebuilt and there was little technicalities, but they were little to them. But then to me, I'm like, if that's actually the way that's worded, we can't run that program. Or if that policy is in place, we can't run this program. We can't have a membership. We can't do this.
Like, you can't really level up from there. It's a real stagnant position. Yeah. Like you needed to like those policies and insurance and it's boring chat, but it's like,
oh my God.
It needs to grow with as your business grows because that stuff is like limiting you to what you want to do.
100%. Yeah. And it was absolutely creative blocking me as well because in my mind, I'm like, I'm not going to sit down and work on things if I don't know for sure that I can run with them. And it was even hard having you because I'm like, I've got G on a full-time salary every day being like, what are we doing today, Rubes? And I'm like, how much shit do I get you to do on a program if I don't know if we can run that program again? So it was just quite a tricky time. And like you said, they're boring combos. They're fucking expensive combos.
100%. And when you're like, you're not in that
not
brain.
Been a cheap operation.
No. And you're not in that brain that they're in. So they're saying things and you're being like, can you give that in simple terms? Like
legit.
It's full on.
Yeah. And so basically, I went through this throughout sort of September, early October, and then you start getting people in the fat loss phase being like, what's happening after the fat loss phase?
Yeah.
And you're like, good question, Sally. That's why I haven't slept for 4 weeks, but that's fine. I'll let you know. Yeah. No, but honestly, we had quite an idea of what we wanted to do, and so we were sort of workshopping creatively and what do we actually want to run, and then I'm like logistically having these conversations. What can we run?
Yeah.
And it was like coming back to our first point of it being kind of a blessing in the end is I would literally get up, have these early Zooms, like specialist, lawyer, all of this stuff, whatever. And I would jump off and I would think to myself, is this worth it? Not in a way of having a tantrum, like, is it even fucking worth it? But actually asking myself, like, is this worth it? Do I keep having these convos? Do I keep paying for all this stuff? Do we try and do this or do we just go in another direction? And we kind of had a few plan Bs and stuff in place, but again, it's like how much time and money and energy do you spend working on plan B?
Yeah.
But also you want to spend a bit of time on it. You don't want to spend it all on plan A in case you can't do plan A.
Yeah. And plan B was very like, we like to talk about automative. It wasn't very automative. It was very like plan B. I feel like there was a lot of like, it was clunky.
Yeah.
And so that's what we were trying to like, that's why plan A was great. Because plan A was not clunky.
Yeah, and if you just want the ending to the story right now, plan A got the go-ahead.
Yes,
we're on. But honestly, I would get off these calls and I would just be like, is it worth it? And in a way where I'd just be like, is it worth it? Rubes, like, do you keep spending money on this? Do you keep spending time on this? Do you keep spending G's time on this? Like, or do we actually just pivot?
Yeah.
And it was so funny because I feel like I'm very sort of aware and I always pull shit apart. I don't let my emotions make decisions. And so I would just kind of sit in it. And then in the meantime, I'd be like, okay, let's go on the live call for the fat loss phase. Yeah. Let's, I just had this like little flashback. So I'll just tell this little story. I think I told you this when I got that thing from ANZ. So long story short.
Oh my gosh.
It was like a $15,000 thing. And I got an email for it about 3 minutes before the fat loss phase call, and it was like password protected, and all it said in the email was like your letter of decline, and basically meaning you've just lost $15,000.
Yeah.
But it's fucking password protected.
Dude.
And I can't open this thing, and it's like 5:57,
Yeah.
and I'm trying to get into this fat loss phase mindset
Yeah.
for the call,
Yeah.
and I've just got this thing saying, no, we're not reimbursing your 15 grand.
Yeah.
And I'm just like trying to open this fucking document, and Teller's going off his head as always. Like, and I'm just like, oh my God.
Yeah, no, that is stressful.
But anyway, got that sorted. Happy days. But what I'm getting at is like I would kind of go through all these things, and then I would come into the actual work of Eat Like Ruby, whether it was a live call, whether it was like Facebook group, messages, whatever. Even you would be like, we got this message, or we got this feedback, or this person loved this, or whatever. Coming into the actual work of like the nutrition and training and people making progress and all of the things, I would literally, I'm not even lying, like I don't get emotional, like, but I would just get borderline emotional, and I would just be like, yes, it's worth it. Like, yes, it is. And it's so funny. It's going to make me emotional now because I actually just love it. Like, I love the business. I love the work. I love all the things.
Oh my God.
And I feel like it's almost like, when you're injured, or when you're like, every day you're like, oh, I'd fucking go to gym. Can I be bothered? Whatever. And then you get injured and then you're like, fuck, I just want to go to gym. And you're like, I've taken this for granted. Not that I take my business for granted, but that energy where you're like, I didn't realize how much I love this until the possibility of not being able to do it was there. Yeah. And then I was like, oi, no, hang on. Fuck off. This isn't happening.
No, that's what I'm saying. Your why is so deep. It's great. That's why you're good at it.
I feel like you have phases, and I reckon so many business owners can relate, where you do have to navigate so many things that you do start to question, like, do I still have the same why? Is it there? Is it worth it? Like all of those things. You go on such a roller coaster when you own a business. And it was just such a process for me to go through all that, come into the actual work, and then be like, this is why. This is worth it. And then it would literally fuel me. So if you've been in Eat Like Ruby for the last 2 months, like you have fueled me to put up this fight. Yeah. And we won the fight. Yes. But basically, we were just fighting for certain policies, insurances, being able to offer certain things, inclusions. And like I said, G and I had a few different plans and things in place where it's like, okay, if we can't run that, we'll run that instead, whatever. But we did have the ultimate plan and the things we wanted to run. And the other interesting thing that happened there, I think I kind of mentioned this on the podcast that Shaq and I did, where you and I did have nutrition membership.
Yeah, that was
written.
This is a great combo.
This is so funny because this really is like a meant to be situation. Yeah. Like when we did our whiteboard sesh, we were like, okay, we'll definitely run another fat loss phase. Rubes fucking loves it. We'll definitely have a training membership, like fucking live for progressive training. And then we're like, well, there's so many girls in Eat Like Ruby that do nutrition only and they want to stay on. We'll have a nutrition membership. Yeah. And then we were both like, oh yeah, cool, nutrition membership. Yeah.
it wasn't like a dead end. It just felt like, what is that?
Yeah, exactly. And then the more we looked at it, I was like, I guess like we could give them meal plans or, we could give them meal ideas.
Do like
or whatever.
a podcast, like a
like
little,
a private
podcast where like you got
like a masterclass or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then.
And we were like, what else? Like, what are you going to talk about?
Yeah, because I was like, I fucking do weekly podcasts and I do weekly YouTube. And
I've got
if they've done the fat loss phase, they've got 24 fucking meal plans. Yeah. How many meal plans do you need? And if you want meal ideas, Google meal ideas.
Yeah.
And that was actually the thing is we were logistically looking like, okay, if we're going to run it and we have Kajabi and we have all these things, we need to charge X amount.
Yeah.
And then I'm like,
you didn't feel like it was
charge
worth it.
X amount. Like they get a free podcast. You can Google free meal ideas. Like I can't justify that price, but we can't not have it at that price. And then so much of the inclusions were also things on the whiteboard of shit Ruby doesn't want to do. And so we were just like...
So the nutrition only membership was really not a long-lived idea.
But that's what I think, like, had we not have then had to navigate... Because when we started to navigate everything with the insurance and the lawyers and everything, it really made me look at every separate thing in Eat Like Ruby and be like, okay, I do have to fight for this company and these programs right now. What is worth fighting for?
Yeah.
And then when you think about every single thing we just said, I was like, nutrition only membership? No, I'm not going into bat for you. I need to fucking put everything I have into the fat loss phase.
Yeah.
And during winter,
just like the phase structure in general.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. During winter, like we've had the girls go through Train Like Queens, which is like our gaining phase and all that. So those sort of programs I fucking love. And really when I pulled it apart, I'm like, the two things I love, or probably the three things I love, is educating on nutrition to the point where people don't need to stay on. Yeah. And that's where the nutrition membership just didn't feel right for me, because I'm like, if you've actually gone through the fat loss phase, or you've gone through Queens, or you've gone through whatever we offer, and you've picked up everything I've put down, you shouldn't need to stay on.
No. And you don't want to. Like, that's not your, like, message or, like, brand identity. Is, like, you want people, like we said in the car, like, to semi-graduate. Like, you want them to you want to be a resource that you, like, this is everything I know over my 10, 15, I don't know.
Life. 32.
Like 32 years of knowledge with Ruby. And like let them walk away and be like, okay, cool. Like I know exactly what I need to do. And your big thing is like, I can't make you do it. You're the one that has to do it. I can give you all the resources, but there's no point, and you keep paying me to be around because the only person that can make you do it is you. Yeah. And I'm able to give you all the information to do it. You're able to support your community through like the fat loss phase and things like that, because they are live and you are active in it. And like this one's been super great because you're actually on the journey with them.
I fucking love this round.
Which has been so
like,
cool.
The girls in this first round of the fat loss phase, you're going to be like the OGs fat loss phases for life in my eyes. The things I love is educating.
Yeah.
I actually feel like in my mind, and a lot of people might not understand this, to me there's a very big difference between an educator and a coach. And I see myself as an educator. I think there's an element to coaching where people are constantly waiting to be told what to do next. And I don't want to be that person to people. I don't want people coming in to Eat Like Ruby being like, I'll just do whatever Ruby tells me to do next. I want to give you everything you need to make those decisions for yourself. Yeah. And that's become so obvious to me over the years. Like I've navigated so many programs and everything, and that's been the thing that's really come across is like, I want to teach, I want to facilitate, I want to run the space, whatever. I want them to make the call. I want to give them what they need to make that call for themselves. And if you think about the fat loss phase, they absolutely do that. Yeah. Girls in the fat loss phase, you probably don't even realize that, but you come in and say like, Rubes, I'm going to go to maintenance. XYZ, I've got a holiday here, I'm doing this. What are your thoughts? Yeah. But, and I love that. That's literally what I'm there for, and I'll give them my thoughts. Maybe think about this, or fucking solid plan. I love it. Couldn't have planned it better myself. Yeah. Whatever it is. But it's such a different energy than, you know, you get that sort of coaching space where it's like, here's how my week went. Tell me what to eat next. Yeah. For as long as you're being told what to do, like for as long as you're waiting to be told what to do, you're going to be waiting to be told what to do. Yeah. Yeah. So to me, it's like I want to deliver that to you over time so that you can do that for yourself. And what I feel like that creates is this element where I've got girls that have been in Eat Like Ruby for 3 years. So it's not like come in once and then fuck off because you got everything you need. But it is literally come in once and fuck off if you want to because you've got everything you need. I want girls to come back if they want to. If they're just like, I love the space, I love Rubes, I love the community, I love the resources, whatever. But it's not like I need to. And if you think about typical kind of like gym challenge aspect, for a lot of people, it's like I do the summer challenge. I do whatever I'm told. I cut out all the things they tell me to cut out. I train as often as they tell me to train. I'm as good as they tell me to be. I eat what I'm air quote allowed to eat, whatever. I go off into Christmas. I completely disregard all of that. So then I join the New Year's challenge and I get told what to do again. Yeah. Even though we run a fat loss phase coming into summer and we run a fat loss phase in the new year, I don't want it to be like, I need to be in that to lose weight. Christmas went to shit. I need to join again. No. And we've already got so many girls from this round that have joined the next round. But this is even why I gave them that massive discount, because I'm like, guys, you know it. Believe it or not, protein hasn't changed. Calories hasn't changed. Breakfast hasn't changed.
The 24 meal plans haven't changed.
We actually don't have brand new information and science to give you. So I didn't charge them full price because I'm like, if you come in, you're going to get a lot of the things you've got before. Yeah. But I'm going to show up every day with fucking something to say. We all know this.
Yeah.
And it's just the vibe. It's the community. It's the support. It's all those things. Yeah. And it's having the ability to come into the group and say, Rubes, this is where I'm at. This is what I'm doing. I'd love some feedback. Whatever.
It's crazy. The ladies in there, like,
they're freaking awesome. And this is why, this is why I was on these Zoom calls with these lawyers thinking I'm going to get off this call and jump off the balcony. And then I would check the Facebook group before I jumped. And then I'm like, hang on a minute. I'm not jumping. I'm going to stay and fight for this.
So they literally do my job sometimes. Like, you guys are in there and like, one of you will be like, hey, I can't see this. I like go to the comments to reply. And someone's like, you should try this. This is what I did. Are you seeing it yet? Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, thank you, Cheryl. This is awesome. Thank you. Like, they're just so in it. And it's like, why this phase structure is so important and why you should fight for it, because it is creating just
I fought.
Yeah.
I won.
Yeah.
Bring
you
it.
did.
If anyone else wants to fight, actually, no, I'm tired.
Maybe we should.
No more fights. No more fights. I take that back.
Yeah. But like you said, the discounted membership, they are getting all the same stuff, but they know how good it is to be in they know that they're in a community of women that like are doing the same thing, are having the days where they feel, because not every day you feel like being on a weight loss journey.
No, 100%.
And they all know that. And so it's nice to the days but you don't feel like it. You know there's someone out there that does
100%.
Also. Yeah.
And even like we're going in so many directions, but I don't care because I went in it's always the way. I even went in there the other day and I'm like, guys, this group is so positive, so many wins, happy days, we're all killing it. I'm like, here's a post, who's not killing it?
Yeah.
Talk to me. Mm-hmm. Like, don't feel like you can't speak up because we've got 600 people posting every day about their PBs and their progress and whatever. If you're not in that position, here's the thread. Tell me what's up and I'm going to talk you through it.
Yeah.
And I think right now there's about 40 comments on that thread. Yeah. But we had so many people that were just like, oh, it's the weekends, or trying to work out what to do for the holidays. I'm going here, I'm going there. I'm thinking of doing the fat loss phase in January. Should I go into maintenance for a while? And this is, again, where I would go into that group. And it's funny because people will be like, sorry for the long spiel, but like, I ate this and then I went to maintenance, I did this. And I'm like, long spiel? Sally, this is my fucking jam. Keep spilling. And I would just send the biggest replies. Love that, love that, love that. And yeah, I just think that aspect is so cool. I absolutely love it. I don't even know where we were going with that.
No, pretty much.
I'm still talking about the 3 things that I love to do in the business, and we're still on number 1.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think you're just sharing the love of the fat loss phase structure. So maybe we go into like what we're actually bringing in.
Yeah. So when I looked at like, what do I want to bring in? What are we fighting for? What are we including? Where are we going? Really, when we look at that sort of back and forth with the lawyers and all of that, it was really just like the reason we sort of say it was a blessing in the end. It just made us look at like, again, what is worth fighting for? Yeah. What do we really want this company to be long term? What do we want to offer long term? What do I want to do every day? And it really actually made me have that internal dialogue because when I did start Eat Like Ruby, it was a side hustle. Yeah. I was like a full-time gym manager. Yeah. And then I had like 4 clients at the time. Crazy. And then we've just grown and grown and grown from there. And you still kind of just have that like, oh, it's just like my little business. Yeah. And I think everyone in my life still thinks it's my little business. But
I don't.
But it kind of made me have that internal dialogue where I was like, okay, this is very time consuming. It's very draining. It is very expensive, all the things. If you're going to tap out and do something else in 12 months' time, this isn't worth this shit fight. If this is going to be your life's work, or if you're going to do this for 10, 20 more years, it's worth fighting for. Yeah, and it made me just kind of think about that, like, okay, do I keep going because I want to do this work forever, or is it actually just side hustle vibes? Yeah. Let's fucking wrap it up now, boys. Like, it's not worth it. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So, it was just that thing that you don't really think about that until you're forced to. Yeah. And then I'm like, no, she's not going anywhere. Yeah, I've got plenty more to say. And even at the time, that's actually probably even a really good point. I don't know if people realize, but podcasting ain't cheap either, and professional podcasting. And we were coming up to time. So it was end of September, which is end of the quarter. And I always like to pay for anything I can. If anyone owns a company, you know the thing. Last week of the quarter, it's like, what can I spend money on? And there was part of me that was like, do I pay, like I buy podcasting in 12 packs, which is thousands.
Yeah.
And there was part of me that's like, do I do that?
Yeah.
Because they were pods that would take me to, I think, like end of Feb vibes. And I'm like, well, if we can't run these fucking programs in January, what the fuck
are we talking
am I
about?
talking about in February?
Yeah.
And there was honestly parts of me where I'm like, do I actually pay this ginormous invoice right now?
Yeah.
While I'm paying the lawyer, while I'm paying this, while I'm paying Georgia to twiddle her thumbs, waiting to be told what to do next. All of the things. And I literally just had to be like, I don't know like exactly how or when this is going to work out, but I will fucking work this out. I even remember one day saying to you like, we'll do XYZ for the next round of the fat loss phase. And then G was like, oh, so have we got the all clear? And I was just like, we're getting the all clear, G.
Yeah.
Like, we're getting it. We don't fucking have it right now.
I like asked you briefly.
Getting it.
I was like, are you okay? Because she was like a little bit more serious than usual. Which is fine. Not like, are you okay? Like you were being rude. Like, I'm like, are you like okay? Because I know this is like a bit stressful. And the whole time you were just like, no, it is what it is. Like you were just so like, it is what it is. Like we're going to be doing it anyway. So it doesn't, it's sweet.
And I would actually just jump off those calls and just think, okay, yep, this is where it's at. Do I literally just send a group text to everyone involved right now saying we're wrapping up?
Yeah.
Or what's just happened? What do they need from me? And it's one of those things where they're also like, I need a copy of this. I need your fucking birth certificate. I need your driver's license.
Yeah.
I need this. I need that. And again, you're just like, okay, got to go down to Officeworks, fucking photocopy all my shit. Like, it's just very draining in so many little ways. Yeah. So anyway.
So what we have
Anyway, we're good to go.
Yeah.
And it just made us look, okay, what are we offering? What's worth it? Let's actually fucking go.
Yeah.
So I was like, non-negotiable fat loss phase is back. Yeah. And it's already open. Sitting here right now, it's been open, I think, for about 48 hours and the floodgates are open. Yesterday, G monitors the inquiries and the emails and whatever.
I love it.
I think you had a full-time job yesterday of fat loss phase inquiries.
Yeah.
So we opened the floodgates on Wednesday night. I'd say like your Thursday was emails.
Yeah, it was. It was this morning too. Like that was the first thing I did this morning. But yesterday I read them all and then I made a list of who I was going to reply to at the same time. So I put the ones that I needed the most brain power for at the top and then like the ones that were a little bit more easier down the bottom and then we got through.
Love it. But so we definitely just had the fat loss phase is back. She's on and we're good to go. And it's just exciting. I'm so pumped for it. But the other thing that I really love is the progressive training. Like I think with nutrition, you can learn I don't want to say everything, but you can learn everything you need to navigate a fat loss phase or a muscle gain phase or whatever. Yeah. And then you can rejoin those things if you're like, okay, technically like I know, but also I want the environment, I want the support or whatever. But you actually can do one of those things and go off on your own. And I say to the girls, if at the end, like here's your options at the end, but equally if you're good to go, fuck yes.
Yeah.
See you later. Yeah. You're always
the training wheels are off.
Yeah. And it's like you're always welcome back, but also if you don't need to come back, that's a win as well.
Yeah.
But then with training, I think you want structured progressive training in place. And I think we've done a lot of episodes recently about training. And I think if you don't have the study and the education about that, you don't know how to formulate the best programs for yourself. And I also just think it's so underrated to have a completely structured training program at your fingertips. Yeah. Get to gym, open the app, know exactly what you're doing, know what you're doing tomorrow. It all makes sense. You know you're in a structured block. The next block starts on this day. We're working on this. We're working on this. Yeah. I absolutely love this. Like I think this is a game changer. When I see people going from like fucking around in the gym or just not knowing what they're doing, feeling lost in the gym, whatever, to getting on a structured progressive plan, the physical results with like body comp, shape, all of that are awesome. But I think it is so empowering for a person to just be like, I'm actually a really consistent bad bitch in the gym.
Yeah. And you're speaking to so many people.
Underrated.
You're speaking to so many people. You are speaking to people out of fat loss phases. You are speaking to people that are lost. You are speaking to chicks like me who train consistently, get bored, want to try something.
Yeah.
Like you are speaking to all these different people that like maybe like for me personally, I wouldn't probably go into a fat loss phase because I probably don't, that's just not my goal. But I also probably don't want one-on-one PTing because I have somewhat knowledge where it's like I don't really need that.
Yeah.
So it's like the perfect in between of just like this product is, and it's the best part about it, it's so simple.
Yeah, so
Everything
what we're
is so
actually
simple.
talking about is the training membership
that
we've gone ahead with.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry guys.
So really
which is like just training, no nutrition support.
Yeah, and so we've made it available for people to come in at any time. Like if you've done your own nutrition in other ways or you don't give a fuck about nutrition, that's awesome. Yeah. And you can just...
It's not awesome, but like...
Yeah, if you don't give a fuck in a good way, that's awesome. You can just come into the training. But equally, I wanted it there for the girls that do things like the fat loss phase or whatever.
Yeah.
Get on top of everything, and it's just like, I just want to stay on for training.
Yeah.
And that was a very big demand. Like that was a really common theme where girls are like, I'm good with nutrition, but I really want to keep on for training. But
also people that eat like Ruby stans that haven't done phases.
Stan is one of the words where I'm like, gee, what the fuck does Stan mean? Like what?
Yeah, Kristen knows what it is. Stan.
Yeah, like he has all the songs where it's like, Dear Stan. Yeah. But like, how does that relate to...
I don't know. You just say it like it's a fan. Like you're a stan. Like you're a diehard fan.
Yeah, but
anyway, if you're an Eat Like Ruby stan...
Yeah.
And you're like, I don't really want to... I just want to train like Ruby. Like, here it is. Here it friggin' is.
No, but honestly, I love it. And what I love with training is... thinking about, I see the most common themes with training, and there might be like one or two differences, but 99% of girls that come to me are like, I want a hip thrust, I want to deadlift in some way, like RDL, I want to squat in some way, whether it's back squat, front squat, goblet, hack, whatever.
Yeah.
I want some of those extra booty things, the deficit lunges, the step ups, the kickbacks, the fucking booty bands. And then most chicks want the upper body that looks like, I lift, but I'm not a fucking bodybuilder.
Yeah.
And there's usually a bit of a theme there too that's like, I'd love to be able to jump on the bar and
do some pull-ups.
Do some casual chins.
Yeah, for sure.
Wouldn't mind jumping down, repping out a few push-ups
yes.
when people are watching.
Yeah, 100.
And then I think just like there's always the ab goal. Like people are like, I'd like a little bit of abs, but I think abs is a cool thing you can progress with as well to like hanging knee raises, toes to bar, that sort of thing. Like you don't want to just be laying on the floor doing fucking crunches for 10 years.
Yeah.
So I think so many people do.
100, yeah.
So with the training, like those common themes, and usually it's like, I want to obviously look good. Like a lot of people train for looks, and I'm all for that. I do as well. But I think it's a very common theme, especially when you get on top of your nutrition and training. You're not in that mindset of like, I need to go to gym, I need to burn calories, and you start thinking like, okay, yeah, obviously I want to look good, but like, I want to hit a hip thrust PB. I want to hit an RDL PB. I want legs that look like I lift. I want glutes that look like I lift. Yeah. And then I do want to chase like the pull-ups. Maybe I can kind of get 1 right now, or I can get 3, but I'd love 10 by the end of the year or whatever. Yeah. My brain, like that is literally my creative outlet, is to look at a training program and say, okay, if we want to do so low key, and I can actually like get my laptop out and back this up, the training membership is planned for 10 6-week training blocks right now.
Hang on, what?
Yeah. Because we're not fucking doing random training. I'm not just making it up when it comes out. To me, training is like, okay, if I want to be here by this time next year, what do I do to get there? Reverse engineer. Yeah. So if someone wants to do a chin up, and I've said this in so many ways before, if somebody wants to do a chin up, it's not just like jump on the bar and keep trying to do chin-ups until you can. It's like, let's pull it apart. You need lat strength. You need bicep strength. You need to be able to get yourself up, hold yourself up, lower yourself down. You need to be able to retract the shoulders. You need to be able to engage the core. There's so many elements to that. So to me, it's like, if you want to be there in 6 months or 12 months or whatever, what happens in the training block before that? What happens in the training block before that? How do we actually work up to that? So that is, I love that. To me, it's like, put it all out. I've got a big sheet in Notion that's like, if we're doing all these things in this week, we're doing it that week, we're doing it that week. It's just my jam. I love it. And again, here we are like, oh yeah, nutrition membership, cool. And then I'm like, oh, training membership, yeah, that's actually done till 2025.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I actually woke up at 4 a.m. on Sunday, and that one got done.
No, I think it's definitely those, having that nutted out and having the phases nutted out has just created like this vibe, at least between us two. We're vibing about it, but like, we're loving it.
The chat between G and I, it literally goes from like super serious, like, okay, just spoke to the lawyer, XYZ. And then G will just come in all caps with like a disco ball emoji. Oh, fuck yeah, boys, we're on.
Yeah, someone's got to celebrate.
And then
I really like the dance man emoji at the moment.
She does.
I have been using that to death. I love it.
She was like not an emoji person.
No.
Before she met me. And then she's like, your use of emojis is excessive.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I live for it.
I understand it now.
Like convey my soul.
Yeah. No, I love it. I love picking like a bit of a random one just to throw out there.
Yeah, you do actually.
I do like that.
And then the dance man.
I feel like the dance man's like this energy, like it's done.
Yeah.
That's like
and
the
that's what I
energy
get
it
from
gives.
you. We are on the same level. Because when you'll say
like easy.
We'll be like, email's done, dance man.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, I can clear that out of my mind. G's all over it.
Yeah, legit.
Dance man mode.
Yeah, no, that's great.
Yeah, so, and even when you think about all that, I know we're crapping on, but when you think about like Eat Like Ruby is obviously the fucking name of the company. And then my things that I love is to do for myself, like a fat loss phase or a muscle gain phase or whatever. And then if I'm not, focus on good structured training, hitting PBs, all of that. So it just makes so much sense. And even when I thought about that nutrition membership thing, absolutely, like I'm sure there's hundreds of them out there and they're awesome.
Yeah.
I think it's a real common theme with people where they're like, I want brand new meal plans all the time. I want this all the time. I want that all the time. I reckon, tell me where the fucking lie is. We all save 1 million recipes and make the same fucking lunch every day. Right?
100%. Yeah.
So people are like, I want the recipes, I want this, I want that, da, da, da. But when you find your shit that works, you stick with it.
Yeah.
She eats the same 2 meals all the time.
Yeah. It's a problem.
Even to the point where I'm like, I'm going to go and buy us fishbowl. Do you want it? She's like, nah, I'm just going to have my normal lunch.
Thank you.
I'm like, okay, well, I'm having fishbowl.
I was so hungry that day, just side note. I actually was like looking through you. I was like, okay, go have your fishbowl. I've got to go and eat food.
It's so funny. Yeah, so with that nutrition style thing where you're like constantly dropping in meal plans and meal ideas and whatever, I think in theory people are like, oh, I would love that. But then it's like, would you really utilize it or do you have your shit that works?
Yeah.
And even with the fat loss phase, perfect example, like we drop in those example meal plans every week because I said on the podcast a few weeks ago, if you're like day one flexible dieting or whatever, you actually need a plan. You need something to follow. But it's so common to watch those girls go through that phase and use those meal plans for a while and then start to find their foods that work. They start to... like they might be like, oh, I loved the breakfast on day 1, so I'm going to keep doing that for 7 weeks. And then I'm going to finally do the breakfast from day 3 or whatever. And I just think once you've got a certain amount of resources with that, you don't really need many more.
Yeah.
You kind of find your way.
Pretty much, yeah. You find what works for you.
Yeah, people
and
find
also
their foods and their meals and whatever.
Convenient. Like you want to go to Coles and you just want to you want to get in and get out. Like you know what you need.
Yeah.
Like unless you're a foodie and you love to cook, like I think that's a whole different thing you have to navigate. You might have to save it for the weekends, but majority of the time you want to know what you're eating. And when you go to Coles, I think most people have a routine when they go to Coles.
100%. I mean, I go to Woolies. We've had this fight before, but I've said this on the podcast before, like people think they want a brand new meal plan every day or whatever, but it's like, if that has 4 or 5 meals on it, like, do you want to make 28 brand new meals a week?
Yeah, no.
No way. Like
stressful.
The food, the cost, the shop, the stress, the cooking, the waste.
Yeah, and realistically, if you're not even on a meal plan, you probably are eating like, let's all admit it, like when we're growing up, you've got like 5 staple meals. You've got like...
For sure.
Sausage and mash. I don't know where I've gone with that. Like, steak, maybe like Mexican night.
Tacos, yeah.
Yeah, a pasta night, and then maybe like fish and chips on one night.
For sure.
And you're just rotating through that.
If mum was making tacos, it was like, fuck yes, energy.
Yeah, 100%.
100%.
It's the same thing.
That's, when I said I was the Iron Woman?
Yeah,
I would...
Which is nuts that you've just thrown that in on me, but anyway.
Yeah, so my childhood, big days training. Mum will have a good laugh with this. Big days training, and then I would just go home and just smash the tacos. Like, nice. I'm talking like 9 tacos.
Okay.
I'm not kidding. Mum will back this up. Like, you know how you make 2 and then when you're eating 2, Mum's like, should we put more on?
Yeah.
I'm like,
Ruby's
Mum,
like, absolutely.
put them on until I say take them off. Right?
Mate, are we talking like the mini? Like
I'm talking the hard shell.
Hard shell?
Yeah. We were like hard shell only family. And
Jesus.
I would just go 2. Mum would put 2 more in the oven while I'm having 2. The next 2 were on.
Do you have siblings?
Yeah, sister. And
Any brothers?
She'd be doing 9 as well. She's a bad bitch.
Yeah, okay.
Get her on the pod.
What's your sister's name?
Rachel. Ruby and Rachel.
Oh, cute. Yeah, nice. Yeah. Back to who is who and what they want to do.
We are so out of it.
We're going to be home, going on the drive home and just be like silent in the car.
Like we actually forgot to talk about the program. Yeah, so, and what I was getting at there is like, I'm the same. And we all see this on Instagram. Like I eat the Eat Like Ruby bowl every single day. Yeah. So if I was to have a membership where it's like, we're giving you new meals and blah, 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 people are like, well, I know you're not eating them. So it's not really Eat Like Ruby, is it? No. It's Eat Like the shit Ruby's fucking pulled out of her ass because we've got this nutrition membership all of a sudden. But that's not what we're doing.
Yeah.
So I feel like we've gone in so many directions. Hilarious. But really what I really want Eat Like Ruby to be is if people don't know anything about nutrition and they're just watching us eat Nutella and live our best lives and they're like, how do I get in on this action? I want people to be able to come into one of the programs like a phase, a fat loss phase, if we do a muscle gain phase. Yeah, I'm playing around. I feel like it'd be kind of like performance phase through the winter. The girls love that. Yeah. We did a version of that last year. So, but really I see people come into those, get the meal plans, get all the meal ideas, all of those things to get started, all the education, the calls, the resources, the chat, everything's there. And then like we said, learn enough that they can go off on their own if they want to. They can join the next phase if they want to. They can be like, yo, nutrition's good. I'm just going to go in the training membership for a while. Yeah. And we've had different versions of this over the years, and mad shout to the girls that have been in Eat Like Ruby for the last 2 years because you've just picked up whatever I've put down. I've been like, we're doing a fat loss phase, we're doing a 10-week program, we're doing Eat Like Queens, Train Like Queens. Yeah. And they're like, yep, sign me up. Yeah. And it's really been, I kind of joke and say it's been a bit of an element of trial and error, but there really hasn't been error.
No.
There's been things where I'm like, oh, okay, we'd change that, we'd do that differently, but there's never been anything where I'm like,
always refining.
Red flag.
Yeah.
No way. So, but I just feel like going through all those things has really made me see like what works, what doesn't, what do I love, what is the shit Ruby doesn't want to do, what do I like can't wait to wake up and do. I'm writing training programs for 12 months in advance. Clearly there's something there. So I'd really just love, and that's what I was getting at is I've seen girls in Eat Like Ruby do a phase or a program that's quite hands-on and then they do just go off into training for 3 or 4 months by themselves and then they're like, oh, another fat loss phase. That works for me. I'll jump back in that. Oh, I'm going on holiday. I'll go off on my own for 8 weeks. Now I'm home for holiday. Maybe I do want to do a performance phase. I want people to be able to move in and out or come in and out because they want to and it's positive and they're excited and they're motivated. I never want it to be like, I can't succeed unless I'm with Ruby.
Yeah. I think too, it's awesome though that you are giving both options now because once you have someone that might be new to Eat Like Ruby, they come and they do a phase, they're like, awesome, like you said, love nutrition, head into training. You've got girls that have done 3 different phases with you. They're going to come out of this fat loss phase, go into training and being under Eat Like Ruby from the phase to the training, you know that training is going to complement coming into the next phase. Like you're not just doing the phase and then you're going off to someone else's style of training and then you're going to like come back to Ruby and then do that style of training. Like it's kind of just like this big cycle year round, which most people in the fitness industry and people that work out want to be training consistently. And it's like, okay, I'm training on my own for a bit. Now I'm in a phase with a bunch of cool people. I'm training on my own a bit and back in the phase to like grow this or lose this. So that's like a great cycle. And then I feel like those phases are just a great intro for the people that aren't in the circle yet.
Yeah.
You know?
Get
like,
in.
Come in.
This is your stepping stone in. 100%. I couldn't have said it better myself. Gee.
I hope you guys are watching because I'm drawing something on the desk.
She's just drawing a circle, guys. You don't need to be watching.
No, to YouTube. Go to YouTube.
Yes.
I'm buying her a cake at 1K.
I love it. Do we have anything else we want to talk about?
I don't think so. I think...
yes!
Pick me.
G does.
If you are someone who has done the phases and you're coming into just the training program and you want to do...
This is fun. No, this is funny because G has sent like probably 50 emails with this yesterday. So now she's treating...
I've got it refined.
She's treating this like a public service announcement.
Yes. Public service announcement. what I would recommend to you is if you're in a phase and you come in and you want to start doing the training and then you're like, I want to do the fat loss phase again. Babe, you can just keep doing the training membership and we'll just pop you in on the nutrition-only fat loss phase. And look at this little circle. Just keep going.
Yes.
It's
people that were wanting to kind of go in and out were wondering, like, do I stop the membership and join the nutrition and training fat loss phase? We advise not doing that because you will lose where you're at with your program. You will essentially like start a new program with the fat loss phase, which you don't want to do because if you're 3 months in, you don't want to go back to day one. So what G has been saying is buy into the nutrition only aspect.
If you are part of the training membership.
If you're in the training membership. So you get all those fat loss phase extras, but your training doesn't get interrupted.
Yeah. It's also a lot more cost effective for you. You're welcome.
I love it.
Cool.
Good, great shout from you.
Yes, great shout. Dance emoji.
I feel like that's a great place to wrap it up.
Yay. Okay, this has been fun.
Yeah, so little fun announcement as well coming over the next few weeks, I'd say throughout December and January.
What is it?
Some of the Eat Like Ruby legends are coming on the pod.
Oh, yeah, that's so exciting.
So if you are like, Ruby just sits there and talks about all her gals, who are these gals?
They're coming.
You're about to meet them. So I think at the moment I've got 3 lined up, but I've got probably about 6 in mind.
Yeah.
And it's, to each their own. Some people don't want to come on the podcast. I don't think I've been rejected yet. Everyone I've asked.
100%.
No, but some people, it's like go on a podcast and tell your story.
Yeah.
Some people don't
want to
do
do that. Are they all from the coast?
No, so
Are you flying some in?
No, like Zoom, like vid chat. There's one from the coast, so one of my OGs, Nita, she's going to come here. It's so funny because every time we have a live call or whatever, it's just like a running joke. She can never work out the tech. And then I was like, we can either do a live, like we can do it as a call, or you can just come up. And I'm like thinking in my mind, please come up. Because I know you hate the tech. And then she literally was like, I hate tech. I'll just come up. And I'm like, yes. But it's cool because it's like I literally feel like I know her so well, but we've never actually met in person. So that'll be cool, as. But then I've got one of my legends, Kylie, who she has done fat loss phase. She's done training. She's done all of the things we've just spoken about pretty much. Yeah. And she has literally lost 17 kilos this year in Eat Like Ruby. So, and she's just awesome. She's just awesome. And she's actually like edging into her own little nutrition and training biz.
Oh,
yes.
Love that.
So I'm like, Carls, get on the pod. So she's coming. I've got a few other girls. They're on the way. So I just think it'd be so cool to hear because we get such a mix in Eat Like Ruby, like old, young, mums, students, workers, people that work away, night shift, all of these things. I think people can be like, oh, that wouldn't work for me because I study or because I do this or because I do that. And I just want to get the girls on here that it's like, no matter what you do, if you've got the right attitude and you're in the right environment and you get the right education and everything, like you can get after it.
100%.
And these gals have. So they are coming in the coming weeks. We'll be back. I think I'm going to get Shaq back in just before the wedding. And then, we're going to wrap up the year.
It's exciting.
But thank you so much for coming in, G.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me, guys. Really hope you love it. And love me on it.
That's a great way to wrap up. The links to everything we've just spoken about will be in the show notes. You can follow eat_like_Ruby and hit us up there. Yeah. And otherwise,
any questions? My inbox is open.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Bye.